everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you saw in the title, today we're going to talk about things that I'd rather not have experienced in the USA. Let me tell you right away, it's not going to be a negative video. I'm not going to talk bad about this beautiful country because, well, if you've been following me for the past like few months, at least you know my 2 trips in the USA, you know that I have a lot of amazingly beautiful things to say about this country, that I love it. And I mean, I could like talk hours and hours about the USA. It's a really great country, honestly. Great country, great people. But, you know, we need to have a balance, and I need to say some stuff. I mean, honestly, you're gonna see, guys, it's not that bad. It's very personal, I guess. So first of all, I wanted to mention somewhere the differences that I kind of experienced between the East Coast, my first trip, and the Southern West Coast, my second trip. And mainly it was the nature. The nature was quite different in both regions, and people are quite different from one coast to another. And not in a bad thing. It's just that you can clearly feel that it's a different vibe. People live differently, and yeah, definitely there's a different, like, yeah, I guess vibe could be it. I don't know. Yeah, I guess people are a bit different in their behaviors. But you know, it's probably has to do with like the fact that the states are different themselves, so life is different, so people's lives are gonna be different, you know, that kind of stuff. But it was great to be able to experience 2 very different parts of the country like that. So yeah, so to come back with the things that I'd rather not have experienced in the USA. Well, the first thing, I've already mentioned it, and we're not gonna talk much about it because I've received enough comments about it. I'm just gonna put it here: the bathroom doors. All right, it's like just nope, no, and no. And I understand, I mean, I read your comments, I understand why and all that, but it just no. The fact, and it's a huge, I mean, we could go on and on with that statement, but the fact that we can find everything in the USA, for the best or for the worst. The worst, yeah. We could go on and on about that statement, but I mean, I will develop a little bit of more of that later, but it's something. Oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna put that here, and we're gonna come back to that later. The gas prices. I think it's something. Let me explain to you guys. I pay €2 almost as a liter here of gas, of SP95. In the States. You guys, I don't exactly remember the prices, and I heard it's getting higher, but it's getting more expensive. But like, I did something to convert. I did the convert. So yeah, it was a liter is €2. So a gallon, because you guys in the USA you work with gallon, is 3, like almost 4 liters. Let's just say. So it makes it 7.56 euros. Which equals, so a gallon will be, if I were to like get a gallon of gas here in France, it'll be a gallon equals $8.50. I pay $8.50 for a gallon, which, I mean, even just like that, it's way too expensive. And so yeah, when, you know, I mean, I've traveled a lot on the roads, and so I've seen a lot of time the price and all of the gas, and each time it's upsetting to know that somewhere else in the world people are paying so much cheaper for what I'm paying here, and it's very upsetting. I mean, it really, you know, when you pay so much for actually no reason. I mean, here the gas is getting so much expensive, so expensive, and it's just very upsetting to know that some people somewhere else in the world are paying so, you know, their gas so cheap. And it was even worse when I went to Northern Cyprus, and you guys are gonna have videos about that later. Like, it's 80 cents a liter, which is nothing, and we used to have that kind of prices back then, you know, in France when I was a kid. But yeah, it's it is what it is. But you know, those kind of information, I just wish my mind didn't know about those, because it's upsetting. I wish it's sometimes, okay, and be open-minded with that statement. I wish sometimes I wish that I did not experience that much kindness from you guys, because when you come back to France and you see how people behave here, nothing wrong with that, right? But it's not the same. It's not the same kindness. Absolutely not the same kindness. You just, when you're aware of how people can be so kind to you somewhere else, and you come back here and you're like, this is how people behave here. This is how people are with you here. It's very sad. It's very sad because you're like, wow, you know that people can be more kind, kinder, and it's just a mindset, right? And you see, not everyone, but you see a bunch of French people being very like close-minded and very reluctant and all that to like do a lot of stuff, I guess, and you're like, you could be you could be kinder, and you could be a lot happier being that kind, because I've experienced that somewhere else, and all the people that have been so kind to me in the USA, you can see on their face they're happy, they're happy, they're genuinely kind, and when you experience that, and you're coming from a country in which like, people are kind here, and some people are very kind. No, this is it's not. I'm talking about the general population, I guess. When you're coming back here and you see how the mindset of people's here, of French people, it's sad. Honestly, it's sad because you know that things could be different. And people could be a lot happier if they were just a little bit kinder, because, it's a give. How to say that? Donnant. Usually when you give your kindness, people are gonna give back some kindness, and makes everyone happy. And I experienced that in the USA, and I wish it would be more like that in France. And sometimes when I have how to say that, not conversations, but like some kind of I guess conversation, stuff like that with people, when most of the times when I observe people having conversation or interactions with each other, they don't really know each other, and I see on their faces there's tension, there's like scare, fears and all, and I'm like, you guys could be like them in the USA, being like, hey, what's up, do you need something, it's sad. Oh yeah, something else that I want to mention and say, hear me until the end. It's special in San Diego, I guess. It's the homeless people, and I'm not saying I wish I didn't see them. I'm saying, hear me out. When you travel to such a big country, a bigger country than France, because I'm French, you see things in bigger forms, like everything is bigger, the roads are bigger, the town are bigger, more population, in every kind of way, everything is just bigger. Kindness is bigger. And so obviously more population means also more homeless people, unfortunately. But when and it's a very personal thing, but when you think it's already that bad, when you think it's already really bad, the homeless situation here in France, and you travel to such a bigger country, and you see how bad it can actually become, it's very frustrating, very sad, especially when you know that the country itself is freaking rich, probably the richest in the world, and you see that doesn't have anything to do with it, even though the economy is going well, and there's just so much money. It's like so much waste, things could be so much better. And it's exactly the same in France, it's exactly the same in probably every single country, honestly. But it's very sad, because you understand that society, government, people in general, it's really not what they make you think it is. And especially when you see that and you're like, wow. And there I thought it was really bad. Here it's another level, and it's sad, and you're like, why? How? So rich, so much potential, and so much waste. Like, seriously. And it's like it's when you experience that, and as I travel, this is the part of it's part of what I experienced. You're like, you kind of lose this naivety. Naivety. All right, thanks. Naivety. You kind of lose this naivety of like, you know, trusting people, believing what they say. Because I'm like that, honestly, and I know it's a bad thing. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world to be like that. Every morning I wake up and I'm like, you know, everything's gonna be okay. Life's good. Everything's gonna be alright. There will always be solutions. I guess I'm just a positive person, and in that positive mindset that I have, I'm also like, I trust people, and I am pretty naive, and I know that. But so far, so good. I mean, obviously I've had really bad experiences with that. But yeah, so my point is, when you travel, you see different things, and sometimes you see things that are even like more bad, like badder, do you say that? Or sad, you know, or worse, like definitely worst. And you're like, wow, you really can't trust people. Like, you really cannot trust some people to do what they say they're gonna do, you know, especially government, society speaking. You're like, it doesn't work, it doesn't change anything. Like, where is the money going? Well, I mean, all that stuff. I don't really want to go, you know, into that kind of hole, but it's something that you're like, wow. And it makes me wonder, and you know, it's through those kind of experiences and seeing that kind of stuff, and you know, seeing homeless people is just one thing of many others. I mean, I have a lot of examples, but I just don't want to like point everything out, obviously. But when you experience that and you see that, which I do and did through my travels, especially in such a big country like the USA, I just, you know, I can't help myself but wonder, how's the future gonna be? Like, what should I expect? Am I gonna be okay? You know, like, what kind of future am I gonna have? Like, is the society gonna be okay? Is this world gonna be okay? And you know, I mean, obviously, no. You know, at some point, no. But it's scary. And it's not that I wish I wouldn't experience that. You know, I mean, I have to, you know, it's part of this, it's part of life, and I'm glad, you know, I gotta be prepared and all, it's part of the thing. But it's just that when you know, as human beings, being so smart as we are and capable and all that, and all the money we have, when we know we could do things a lot better and manage a lot better life in society and all that, it's sad to see how it's going. But it's a reality, and I'm powerless over that. But yeah, it was just something I got aware of when traveling, and yeah. Obviously, I wouldn't have been aware of all that, and I wouldn't be asking myself this question if at least not now, not yet, if it wasn't for all my travels. Maybe, you know, was experience and life and all, and just growing up and getting older, I'll have asked myself this question at some point. But I felt like traveling like so much like I do at such a young age. I mean, I'm not that young, but yeah, I asked myself some questions. I felt like I already asked myself some questions when I felt like I shouldn't. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm still, you know, still growing. I'm still discovering life myself, and also sometimes I'm just kind of lost. I'm like, should I be thinking about that right now? Like, should I be stressed about that right now? You know, it's just. But when you see some stuff, you're like, oh, you can't help yourself but ask yourself some question like, is this gonna be okay? And that brings me to my last point. I told you in my last videos that I wanted to share with you why I'm traveling so much, and there's, so like I said, beautiful reasons. Like, it's my passion. It's my dream, and I just, you know, it's what made me live. Like, discovering the world, exploring the world, it's just what I want to do in this life, you know. And if I get more lives, which I hope for, when I will be dead, passing away, I'll probably just keep doing that. I don't know. But for this life, at least, I want to be exploring the world as much as possible. And that was the main big reason. Nowadays, the more I travel, the more, and I've been aware of it only since a few weeks. I've been aware of that. One of the main reasons I'm traveling so much and taking every opportunities, even when it's dangerous, and I should stop being that naive, is that I'm scared. One of the main reasons nowadays is that I'm just scared. I'm scared that I'm not gonna be able to do enough before it all gonna end up. It's all going to end up, and you know, I'm also scared of another COVID thing. I'm scared of war. I mean, I'm not too far away from what's going on right now in Ukraine, and I'm just so scared I will regret not taking every opportunities that I can, not traveling enough, not experiencing enough, not discovering enough of those countries and this world, and not experiencing enough with people and all that. And I'm just so scared of my freedom being taken away, honestly. Yeah, this is it. I'm just, my freedom is what I value the most in my life. It's what I put first in my daily life, freedom of everything. And when you travel and you experience a lot of things, obviously, and when you see some stuff, I have to ask myself, like, am I gonna be able to have that freedom forever? And I don't have the answer, and I probably won't have it until I actually experience it or not anymore. And I'm just scared of that. Especially when you see how the world is going, how everything is going just so fast, changing so fast, and those wars and those kind of COVID stuff, and you're like, I don't want to go back. I've been kind of traumatized with my COVID experience. I was in my small apartment, so far away from my family, friends, and all for like a year, and I had only 1 hour to get out every day. It was thankfully, FrenchTastic back then was my only thing that really made me get out of all that alive, the music, you guys being here, and now, I'm just like, I'm just scared, honestly. This is why you see me traveling so much, taking every single opportunities and saying yes to almost everything, when sometimes I should not, because it's dangerous and shouldn't trust that, I shouldn't trust people sometimes. But so far I've been lucky. I had a little traumatizing event in Arizona. I had nightmares for weeks after all that, but now I'm good. But it's also, it's part of life, and it's also like an experience that I'm glad I had, because somehow it's telling me that, I have to be careful too, and trusting people like I do isn't always the way to go. But yeah, it won't stop myself from taking opportunities and keeping myself from like traveling and all, because like I said, I'm too scared of I don't know, of my country being in a war, of sickness or stuff like that. And I really thought I really thought I was dying last January when I had to go to the ER. It was so painful, and we can die so easily, as human beings. We're so weak, seriously. And I have this mindset of like, if I don't enjoy myself right now, if I don't enjoy the world, like when? I can't wait. I don't want to have any regrets. And especially, like I said, with everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm seeing so many people having their lives being destroyed, or like just wiped away like that, and I'm like, damn, it's scary. So anyway, I didn't want this video to be negative. I just wanted to share some stuff. And when you travel like I do, you get aware of a lot of things that, at least by myself, I wouldn't have been aware of or conscious of, or stuff like that. And I'm glad traveling to such a big country like the USA, I'm glad that it brought me all that. And sometimes I'm glad that I'm, the title is things I'd rather not have experienced, but you know what? I'm just gonna say I'm glad that I've experienced everything, because like that I can ask myself some questions, and I can enjoy even more my travels and all that. And I found myself very lucky. I'm grateful for the life I have, obviously, and somehow I'm glad that I have this fear inside like this. It helps me to do even more than I maybe will be doing, but it's just that some things that I see or experience are a little bit sad, and it's part of life. We need a balance in this life, obviously. It can be just good and positive and beautiful, but yeah, I guess I'm a little bit sensitive, so sometimes I'm like, man, it's so sad. But yeah, no, that's it. I've been talking for forever, and I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to share some of those things with you guys, and I might have missed some stuff. So as I'm planning on doing some, you know, a live or two, very soon, I hope. I will be mentioning them later if I missed some stuff, forgot some stuff. Yeah, but you know, overall travel. I mean, overall the USA. I love that country. People, almost everyone there have been extremely kind to me, and you know, when French people ask me you know, what I love the most about the USA, I usually talk about nature and all, but the first thing I mention is just your kindness, guys. If you're American, you're watching me, the kindness of people, and it's just amazing. So yeah, let's finish on that beautiful note, the kindness of people that I really enjoyed. And yeah, I will leave you here, guys, because I've been talking forever and I don't want to keep you out from what you were doing. Next time you will be seeing me in Canada. We're gonna start the Canada series next week in a few days, for a few videos, so I hope you're gonna enjoy that. And that's all. I'll see you very soon in my next video, or in a live, or in my Patreon links if you are following me on Patreon, supporting me on Patreon. And that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Feel free to comment on the comment section if you wanna you know, bring some point or stuff like that, like bring some point. Just if you want to know more about what I've been saying, or if you want to comment on some stuff, feel free to do that, and I'll read you. I'll definitely read you in the comments, and I will see you next week for my first Canadian video, I guess. Take care of yourself, drink your water, and I'll see you soon. Bye.